All right, greetings, Captain W here. We're going to do something a little bit different for today, a little variety, and that is do some PowerPoint. We're going to do it on the video. So today's topic actually takes us into chapter 8.1 to 8.3, and we move into statistics, so the reporting of data rather than the chance of data actually happening. Starts off with vocabulary words. Going to get a grounding in the statistical terms and then look at an example on using some of those terms, and then finish up by looking at the normal distribution and 7 different tests that can be used to determine whether or not a data set actually is normally distributed. And as you know from our first section on probability, that if something has a normal distribution, we can do lots and lots of things with it. So the challenge here is for you to follow along with the handout. We'll walk through the actual details and see what type of questions you might come up with. Statistics starts off, and so we're reporting actually on data that's collected, and if we collect everybody in that sample space, we really get the entire population rather than a subset, and the subset would be a sample. For example, if we get the average age of the second class, that could be done with the population, or a sample, the people in this class, and get the average age. Interesting, we're actually trying to do a little bit of statistics this year with the U.S. Census. Comes around every 10 years, and the goal there is not to do a sample, such as a poll for a political party, but rather a measurement of the entire population. When we come to the values, parameters is a measure for a population. We're going to use Greek symbols like mu or sigma. For statistics, this is the subset, getting it for a sample. We'll use X bar to represent the average and the Roman letter S for the standard deviation. That's the sample standard deviation. The whole big picture that we've got is if we've got the entire population, if we slice out a bit of it, we can then use the statistics from that and go ahead, make inferences back into what our actual population is. And this is what you see with political polling all the time. We're doing a slice of America, trying to predict from that what the entire vote is going to be. As you can tell, lots of money, lots of important things that actually get done by just taking a sample of the data. When it comes to samples, the ones we're going to really focus on are these probability samples, where we're not doing things based on opinion, but gathering data and then making inferences from that data itself. So, when it comes to some statistical measures, we have a couple different ways of looking at it. The central tendency, you can think of things where are things around the middle, and the middle might be a mean, median, or a mode. We could break them up into quartiles. As you know, 25th percent quartile, 50, 75. It really gives cut marks where data actually can come. The variance pops under this range measurement, the difference between quartiles, the standard deviation, all under a subset of variation. And then finally, if we look at how that data is distributed, we're going to look at its shape and give it a title of skewed right, skewed left type of data. So our first set of data points comes from looking at this quote central tendency, and from that we get a couple things. One, oops, someone's bagel's done, is the arithmetic mean comes out, and if this is X bar, then we know that we're into the sample here, and whereas mu is actually the entire population. So that's our definition of the mean. The middle of the data when takes place by adding them all up together and dividing by n. Just a little subtle point. Notice that when we talk about sample, we're into lowercase for our number of data points, but the population, we're going to use the capital value of n for the population. Now, jumping from the mean to the median, at this point, we're looking at what is the middle of all ranked values. For this example, if you want to think of maybe some salaries, $50,000, $75,000, blank at 100, 125, 150, 175, 200, 225 is blank, and $250,000 salaries. Rather than look at what the average is or the mean, where are you at in the middle? And in this example, we see the middle comes on out, the median, right there at the value. I think my example went like 125,000. So the median, we've got an equal number to the left and an equal number to the right. The last central tendency value that we're going to talk about is actually the mode. And in that one, it's just like what is the most common value that is in our data set. Obviously, the mean is the most likely term that we use time and time again, but certainly these things like the median is the next value. How many people, for this job example, are paying salaries ahead of me? How many people are behind me when it comes from salaries? All looking at the data itself. Next vocabulary word here is the topic of quartiles, and we're looking at where's the lower group, where's the two middles, 50% quartile, 75% quartile, and then above. So what we want to do is come up with some formula of how to actually determine where our quartile cutoffs actually are. And so that's really the challenge when we come up into the quartile measurements, is where is actually everything located. If you recall from before, Q2 here actually is the median, so we've got 50% above, 50% behind. So